half drinking OJ.
Matching cup.
I bet. Boom.
Boom.
Lit.
All right.
Ain't shitting.
Santé.
OJ.
So we're starting something new today. This is the Future of Podcast, kind of an offshoot of the Organized Sound. And I'm joined today by my boy Conan and my boy Dela.
It's good.
And today we're going to talk about the future of podcasting, which has, obviously, this is a podcast. It's become a very popular medium for just sharing information and all that stuff. And we're going to talk about where the business of podcasting is going. So, well, first of all, Dela, you have to plug something. You're going to be dropping music pretty frequently. So talk about that.
Yeah, so last Friday, it was February 22nd, I started dropping a single every Friday and every Sunday.
Shawty, I know you need somebody. Maybe I can be that body. Cause we all need somebody. We all need somebody. Yeah. Hey baby, how you doing today? You looking beautiful, I'ma say. But why is you blue in the face? You gon' make me have to catch a case. Better yet, we could take a flight. Where you wanna go, we be there tonight. Do whatever just to make it right. Yeah, I need a smile shining bright.
So I dropped my
Somebody.
song Somebody on February 22nd. And then on Sunday, I dropped another song, Pod. And this Friday, I'll be dropping... What song am I dropping?
For real.
You'll be dropping.
I'll be dropping.
We
I
got
haven't
it.
decided yet. I gotta like...
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Two of the songs.
Yeah.
Dope.
Might be
All right.
my shit about it.
We'll definitely be looking out for that. So, do you have anything to plug?
I did all the art for all the
Facts.
songs that he's
Collaborative.
dropping. It's a
Word.
collaborative
Facts.
effort.
This is my
So hit up Conan if you need any graphic art done.
Need any cover art, anything like that.
Conan and Ronan, you already know.
Hey,
Conan and Ronan.
Hey, that's
Word.
never even started that. You see?
All right, so let's jump into it. What's your favorite podcast? And we'll just go around.
Oh, I'm basic. I love the Joe Budden podcast.
Joe Budden Podcast.
Yeah,
you
Joe
can't
Budden
have,
podcast is where it's at.
That's
yo.
he's super consistent, and
He's
I
killing
salute to
shit.
them because they came up and they're on Spotify now with it, and they're doing deals.
Yeah.
And
the whole
some
fuck
other
Apple
stuff
thing is great.
Oh, I
I
missed
fuck
out
with
on
the
that.
Oh no, it's just 24/7 with them. How you if you watch one episode, they're gonna hear them say "fuck Apple," Spotify all day. They say that their MacBook is an Apple book. I mean, a Spotify book. Like it's a Spotify
They be
laptop.
predicting everything too, but that's
Yeah,
my fault, too.
That's the best. They predict everything. Yo.
In terms of
just everything, music, basketball, fucking, and I don't even watch basketball. I just hear them talk about we called it. Like, just be like, damn, I ain't.
Go
Man,
back to
like,
the pod, and then you see where they said it. And they be
Right, it's like, my
this nigga
guy.
really said that shit on this date, and then this shit happened right after.
yeah, and like the
I
whole
messed
Jussie
with that
Smollett thing, like they called it from day one that Jussie Smollett
that
was lying.
looked a little.
Yeah.
Ah.
No, they said it right away. They said he's lying.
Yeah, that nigga.
Oh.
They said it straight up there because Joe Budden brought up to me what was a good point was like that he had a noose around his neck for 45 minutes. That apparently they jumped him and put a noose around his neck, and he just left it on and called the cops and waited for 45 minutes and left that noose. He's like, what kind of
Right,
a
it
safe
looks
is
too-
it to
it's
take that
too-
off? Like, and that he was like not even really beat up for like someone who got beat up by some racist, like they hate homophobic people. They barely touched him. Like they were pretty nice about it.
That's to laugh about. But
Yeah, that is. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's fucked up. Like, not
I'm
to
high,
be
no
insensitive to
problem.
anybody
Yeah.
that's been through that, but you know, like that's just
like
they
they-
called
Red
it
flags.
right away.
They
They called it,
caught
and then they were getting killed for like
Yeah.
days until then it came out, and now everybody's like, oh, Joe Budden
Nah.
called it.
Word.
Facts.
I think that's important, calling stuff and like asserting yourself.
Well,
as,
not
you
like
know.
it's not necessarily important to be like to call stuff. It's like kind of makes it like a competition. Like, oh, let's see if we can call it. But it's more like important to be like observant because like he was arguing with Scotty Beam about this on his show, and on State of the Culture, and like
which is also like a giant podcast.
it's kind of like a
Goes to our
TV
point.
It's
podcast.
like a media podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That goes
what's
into
a podcast?
like
What was first?
well, what is a podcast, right? Because like, and
No.
you can kind of consider State of the Culture a podcast in a sense because I listen to it like a podcast. I don't even watch it. I go on YouTube and I put it in my headphones and I just listen to it because it's the same thing as Joe Budden sitting in his living room with Rory and Maul. He's
It's
sitting
different
in
people.
a studio with 3 other people instead.
Yeah,
Doing the
they
same
dress
thing.
nice.
They don't got segments. There's not like, like it's not like
It wasn't like Everyday Struggle. Everyday Struggle was like a show.
no, but even Everyday Struggle's a podcast. It's the
But that was
same
more
thing.
show 'cause they had clips and stuff like all the
Right, it's
extra
very-
stuff. Like, it
A little
was-
Yeah,
more
they had the-
ESPN of
The
They
clips
had
and
it
stuff
rap
are there, but they're not the
narrating and all
that
that.
wouldn't be the only podcast to have like. Well, no, yeah. I
Like,
guess it's
and
more of a
that's
show
the
because you can't do
narrating and
clips
shit,
without
yeah.
watching. You have to
Yeah.
watch to do clips and shit. But
No, they're just talking shit. That's more of a discussion.
But because it's something like it's not like Everyday Struggle. It's not like Jimmy Fallon or something. Like that's
Yeah.
that's a talk show.
Yeah,
Like State of the Culture is not necessarily a talk show.
Yeah.
It's more like a podcast show.
Well, I would say it's kind of like The View for like hip hop.
But
You
even
know
the View be doing stuff.
Okay.
Like they be having things happen, and like a whole audience is
Yeah,
there.
they play with
And,
that
like,
live audience. For
Yeah,
sure.
and they like have sometimes little performances or a whole thing or like a guest show up and they do something special and like
yeah.
if State of the Culture needs to start doing stuff like that. That's the
Think
type of
so?
stuff,
You think that's where?
and that's where like you see. So like this is me getting kind of deeper into it, but like with the future, see, I think podcast is gonna evolve, and because everyone is trying to podcast now. Now there's like a
It's the new
podcast
SoundCloud
boom.
rapping.
And like anything, right? And that's a great point. SoundCloud rapping, anything that booms, like all the way back to like when I look at history, like DJing when it first started, and how rap just moved. Period. When it booms and people all start doing it, there's something happens where someone has to take it to the next level because everyone's doing
so
the
that
same
there
thing.
can be like a standard, and
Right.
you have to be like a pro to do it. Like
And-
YouTubing, I feel like
and-
that's where YouTubing is at. Is like,
right, but something's gonna happen where someone. And Joe Budden's kind of doing it, but I personally think he's too old, and someone
You
younger.
think there's gonna be a young dude
Someone
to come in and be
younger
like,
is gonna
boom.
come and do similar to what he's doing, but a little more, and they're gonna know how to cater to the new audience and shit like that. Because you gotta be a little bit of an older head to like Joe Budden and shit, and freaking
I think that's why he was trying
He's
to
intense.
act, but then
yeah.
it didn't work.
And like with him touring and the way he markets, because like you see his ads and stuff on Instagram and shit, and like they look dope, and like you don't see any other podcast ads like that, like the way you see his, like they're doper. Like I don't know, there's something about the way they feel, and they give the podcast a more commercial feel. And like when it's because podcasts had this very underground feel for a while, like something like
Yeah,
very
they were
weird
all like
people
in a
do,
basement.
like you do in a
They were
library,
all-
like if you listen to
Nigga talking to
podcasts.
himself, to a camera all day.
Yeah,
that's
like,
alright. I'm like,
yeah,
people
like-
listen to other people talk, and then like
Like you go
start
listen
listening
to a
other
radio
people
show.
talk.
You don't want a podcast. You go listen to a
Yeah.
radio show or something. But like with the future of podcasts, when they start evolving, I think it's gonna start evolving TV for hip hop and for the culture because, like you mentioned, The View. We don't got shows like that
for hip hop.
for hip hop and for just like sports even. Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
just something that's more
like a hip hop sports show,
yeah,
like a hip hop news show, or hip hop like you
just
know what I'm saying?
hip hop.
like what BET
real-
was supposed to be.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, right.
yo, what
that spot has not
that,
been
yo,
replaced.
that's
That's
a hot take.
It's so
That's
true.
a-
It's like
that's a hot
lanes.
take, but-
There's
that's
lanes
fine.
in
years ago.
this.
But
Yo.
like that's what needs to happen. They need to have like a hip hop, media central, where it's like they have a
Like, they
hip-hop
kinda
based
trying to do
news,
it with-
hip-hop based everything.
With Peter Rosenberg open late night with Complex.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
You see,
it's
I
okay.
kind of fuck with that, but it's just kind of corny. Like I think, like
It
but
wasn't.
why
An,
didn't
I
they
feel
Peter
like it wasn't
Rosenberg
enough
host,
like late
man?
night.
I
Y'all
don't
gotta
like that
check
they-
out
I
Bo
don't like that they made
Jackman.
Peter
Bo
Rosenberg
Jackman
the
talk
host.
Night
They
Live.
should
That's my
honestly,
shit.
they should honestly find a better host, like a black person or something. I
You
honestly
think that
think
would've
they should have found a black
fixed it?
host. Honestly, just or
Yeah.
someone I can't think of who.
I
off
think
the top of my head.
it was just a little
But
too
I
New
just,
York.
because
like
Peter
the
Ro-
whole
like,
feel
not
of
to-
that show.
Not to go with that, like sound racist.
Oh
about
yeah,
white
you're not a
people or
big
anything.
fan of Peter
But-
Rosenberg.
Well, I'm just one.
Full
not a fan.
disclosure.
Yeah,
Full
full
I am,
disclosure.
and I agree.
Okay.
They should have had a different host. I
Yeah.
fuck with Peter Rosenberg.
I
But
don't
I
really
think
fuck
that
with
was
Peter
completely
Rosenberg
his
in the house.
idea, and
It
he
probably
pitched it
was,
to
'cause
them.
Yeah,
It follows because I fuck with him, so it follows like his Sunday radio show kind of.
I don't fuck with Peter Rosenberg.
I know. We just had this whole talk.
I know.
This isn't what the
alright.
podcast about.
So you think there's some lanes that need to be filled for hip hop
maybe
podcasting?
not even just
who knows? There's probably stuff out there that we don't know about, right?
But someone who comes off a little less, like
Someone
a little
really-
more from like at least from the hood or something.
Yeah.
Like, just a little more like speaking the language, I guess. Like Peter Rosenberg just comes off very dry. Or I guess just him.
And be real, he can't say a lot of things other people could say.
Like there's so many good hosts and podcast voices and stuff like that are like out and shit.
Facts.
Like
and like new ones.
And
Yeah,
new
who's your
ones.
favorite? Who's your
I bet
favorite
you there's
podcast?
some young
Because we kind of
Oh, it's
bled.
the same one. It's the same one, so it don't even
I
matter.
bet
Nah,
you
you
there's
can't
some-
pick the same one.
I bet you there's
What's
some
your
dudes
next
in
favorite
Complex that could've
podcast?
did that.
Bro, I'm a Joe Budden fan. That's my favorite.
If Joe Budden wouldn't have left, they should have gave Joe Budden that job and never kicked him off of Everyday Struggle. They
Ooh.
should have left him on Everyday
Try.
Struggle,
Kick the other nigga.
paid him more,
See,
and then let him do Open Late Night. If Joe Budden did Open Late Night, it would have
it
been
would have
fire.
been fire.
It would.
But then we wouldn't have the pod like it is, because he wouldn't have went suit.
Right.
would've-
He
no,
really
the-
he
the
needs to
pod-
fill
no,
the
I
void.
think- Yeah, he would have, but
He would have slacked on it a little bit.
but
then
that,
he wouldn't have the revolt.
but that
show
would have
and
been
shit.
amazing if he would have
True.
stayed on Everyday Struggle, and they would have actually
That shit
gave
was
him what he was
booming.
worth. And they would have actually gave him what he was worth, because him in front of Academic was what was
It was just
amazing.
lit, yeah.
Because Academic represents everything
the
about
foil,
the little pumps,
yeah, their
about
duality.
the little nar-nars or whatever this nigga's name is. I mean, what's his name? Lil Nar-Nar?
It's
Oh,
one
this is-
one nar.
Oh, Lil Nar. Oh,
All
I
these
don't-
niggas that make me look bad because I got colored hair.
Well, I mean, they do their thing. I like. some
Nah,
people.
I'm gonna press you
no,
for
you
your
do,
next
you do.
I
your
fuck
next
with Seven
your
and
next
Wizard.
favorite podcast. What is it?
I mean, if Joey did more podcasts, I really enjoyed the like.
That's
4
the
episodes
thing.
he had.
I feel like Joey and Tyler were great at it.
They do
And
great
it's the
media work.
fact that they just don't care.
That would
They-
be
There's no
amazing.
consistency.
If one of the rappers that's really like really cool with everybody, like a Joey or like a Tyler, like someone that can get interesting people and they'll be comfortable to come chill with them. Cause like that's kind
Because
of
they
like,
bring
imagine
such a
Tyler, the
personality.
creator with a late night talk show.
bro, that would be
Yeah, he's made for
hilarious.
it. Yeah,
It'd
because
be skits, it would be amazing.
right,
He
skits,
probably would do that.
everything.
Yo,
Like
Tyler,
it
or
would be
like,
such an extension of that show he did for Cartoon Network.
Facts, he's
Um,
already.
But I'm forgetting the
Tyler,
But,
name.
like,
the
yeah,
creator, could do it.
Warrior Squad.
They,
We
they
need
a young
another
person.
Arsenio Hall show. That's what we need.
Yo, yeah, for the yacht. I don't know.
And
I feel like
and I keep missing my
late
point.
night
I'm
is its
sorry
own
to
art,
interrupt you, but
really.
like the first point I kept trying to bring up, but I keep going on tangents, is that with the evolution of podcasts, I think will come the evolution of television for hip hop, because the TV is gonna have to compete with the podcast. And State of the Culture, like I said, is just a podcast on TV. That's all it is. They're making a
what
lot of.
is it? Is that on a channel?
It's on Revolt.
It's on Revolt.
It's on
yeah.
Diddy's
Oh yeah.
And it's like it's just a podcast on TV, and it's like we said, like if they had some guests, like do some stuff, you know, like how they do on late night talk shows, you know what I mean? Like they'll have like
just trivia or something.
yeah, just trivia or like something fun, like interview someone, ask them some questions, you know what I mean? Like just something like that. It'd be dope. But
Yeah, everything needs it. When you want to take it to the next level, you need some type of gimmick to separate you from everyone else.
yeah,
Not to say gimmicks
What-
are like bad, like to say.
How do you
use the
feel
word
about
gimmick, but
gimmicks? I think of when I think of gimmicks,
goes
I think of
both
Hot Wings at Complex. Like
Yeah, that's
the
like
show
gimmick.
where
Shit
that's
that
like
is
a
fire.
gimmick.
Shit like that
Do you
is
think
dope.
that's
something
really
like
dope?
that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love Hot Wings.
That was like
I
the
watch
point.
Hot Wings all the time.
Like, we
you
were
don't
speaking
like
about-
Hot Wings?
I think it's a gimmick in a negative way.
You don't like
Cause like
It's
after
Hot Ones,
after
by
I
the
see
way.
5
No
of them,
disrespect,
I'm
there's
like,
Hot Ones.
oh yeah,
Hot. Yeah.
We both missed that. I knew
You were
that.
saying Hot Wings. And, yeah.
No, I don't like Hot Wings.
Nah, I
I've
don't
seen it
Hot
like
Wings.
twice. So
No, but yeah, it's
I
Hot
enjoyed
Wings
it.
though. But nah, I seen a bunch of them. I love Hot Ones.
See, that's what I'm saying. Is
yo,
like
you never seen the Gordon
once it's a
Ramsay one? That
gimmick
was the
and I
funny
get
part.
it, I'm like,
Hedrick's
all right.
The Gordon Ramsay one. Me and Hedrick's watch Hot Wings all the time. And my girl, what?
yeah.
Hot Wings
I
is
was gonna
dope.
say, Aunt was telling me he watched Hot Wings with his girl, and I'm like, all right.
Hot Wings is great. Hot Ones. Now y'all got me saying.
We went back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
we're
think
back.
it'll come with the evolution of television. Like we need more shows like Arsenio Hall show again, but we need like at least one good one or two, like 3, 4, like forget like settle.
But I
like,
think
we need
there's a
bunch,
lot
like,
of different places.
There's no
man,
good like and hip hop
to
isn't
find
just
stuff. I think it's hard for people to find
and
stuff
hip hop
now.
needs to like, and this goes a little like because
Expand
it's not
culture.
even being represented. Like it needs to expand culturally because like all right, like I do photography and I do like cover art and stuff and graphic design and all that. And when I look up tutorials and I'm looking up videos on how to do stuff, I'm not seeing people of hip hop culture teaching me this stuff.
It's so
It's all
hard to
white
figure
people.
that shit out.
Like I have to watch it from people who I don't even like watching these videos. Like I'm learning.
Well, that's
but it's
interesting
so
because it's like,
cringy and it's
to
like, I don't like the
me,
jokes and they don't speak the same language as me. You know what I mean? In a
everybody who
sense,
does
like,
it in black culture, I feel like is self-taught versus like if you went to school
yeah,
for
exactly. But like we could be the ones like this.
Like, hey,
is
yo,
great.
fam, this is how you do this.
Yeah,
And
it's
I'm
like, you
"Aight,
know what I mean? Like, all right, cool.
Like,
Like,
not to-
sometimes you just need it like that, you know? Exactly.
Should be
Sometimes you
having
just
12
want it more.
extra steps just to tell you to do one thing.
Like, I
sometimes.
just hate some of their videos, man. Like, I don't know. I guess it's just a sense like, it's like, all right, imagine like back in the day. There's a bunch of sitcoms on TV. There's no black sitcoms. There's nothing represented in the culture. People were upset. They're like, I'm sick of watching this stuff. I want some good representation. That's kind of how I feel on YouTube when I trying to look up graphic designing things and like Photoshop techniques and stuff like that, because I'm not seeing them edit the type of pictures I would edit. You know, they're making these type of edits that's like corny to me.
you mess with Justin Odisho.
I don't know who that is. Put me
Yo,
on. Who
I
Justin
gotta put you on
Odisho?
him.
He's a graphic designer.
He's a graphic. I don't know if he does more videos or like still pictures, but he's definitely a tutorial guy.
Bet. I'll check him out.
I gotta show you him.
Yeah.
We kind of got off of it, but so I want to talk about
But yeah,
this
that's the
idea of
evolution of where
But yeah, that's still
podcast
going.
has to go.
Yeah,
TV,
True.
all
it's
that.
the, like a branch.
Podcast is the first like branch of hip hop because it was born on hip hop.
Like they could
that is
talk
gonna
about.
feel like make its own whole like network and eco
Exactly.
economy,
Where
yeah,
it's
the
like we
community, the
can
inner
communicate
where it's like
with
community.
our own
that's
stuff.
where you can like go to school to be a hip hop media person or a hip hop media.
Yeah, like think
Ooh.
about it.
You
When
get
you
a
go to
degree in
school,
hip hop media.
that's a
and stuff.
great example.
Because you get it for regular journalism, they're gonna teach you how to like. I mean, I don't know, but they probably teach you how to like the same thing. Anything that we get instructed on has nothing to do with hip hop or like hood knowledge or nothing. It's like all
We have to take that and
cut
then
off from-
flip
I
it.
feel like a lot of people are gonna in the future just
And
have
that's kinda what
full-time
makes-
jobs about knowing pop culture.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what I'm
people
saying.
have that
and we need
now.
There's a lot of lanes.
People have that now. People have had
Right.
that for years.
we need that.
Studying pop culture, and that's like an A&R. Like you know, that
exactly
type of-
bringing it to
there's
the corporate
different types of
environment.
versions of
and-
that. That's just been a thing, and people now they sit in studios just studying like Twitters and websites and like you know the insights you can go on your business.
Right,
account?
it's
That's
analytics.
nothing.
It's an
That's
analytics job.
nothing. The stuff they have is like super live action, like just showing you every number, every person on the site, what they're doing, how fast they're on, how long they're on, like just everything, like all in real time, like exactly when people click and do what and where they're all at on the website and all that. Like it's crazy, and they just sit there all day and just watch that stuff, and then they'll be like, all right, let me change this and see how the numbers go. Like then they'll change something and watch the numbers.
All right,
Crazy.
so
Yeah, that's crazy.
Shit crazy, bro.
Like that's like studying.
the internet-
and it's only gonna be more. I agree.
It's like how
The
like,
work world is changing because think about that, right? All you need is a computer to work. Like, do you really need to be that 9 to 5 showing up? All that, like, things are gonna change.
Like
Not
sidebar,
just-
but if we don't blow up, that future that we always thought was gonna happen in 2000, back in like 1980s, is gonna happen soon.
But
If
meaning?
the fucking planet don't blow up.
Meaning?
Because technology and just like even with media, it's like you're saying, it's changing the way people think about how to live their everyday life. Almost nobody I know wants to have a 9 to 5. Everybody
Yeah.
wants to be. Everything
Something.
about having Instagram and Twitter makes even the most regular person brand themselves. They can know how to make good cereal,
Right.
and
No,
they'll
yeah,
have a million
people-
followers and be the cereal king.
people have
and make
always
checks off
Cereal.
that.
What? Where
Like-
did cereal come from? Do y'all see this? How like rappers all have cereal, like are just standing next to a colorful cereal box?
You're not even lying.
That's
Because
funny
cereal
shit.
makes money, yo.
But that's the kid.
And
That's the kids.
how long
monetizing
have
with
how
the-
long
with the
how long
color
have
free
like
niggas.
white people been getting
Yeah.
on cereal and putting mad brands on cereal?
Yup.
They're trying to get in there, and black
The
people have been on
athletes.
cereal. Athletes and stuff have been on cereal.
What do you think of this? Like,
Hip hop has been on cereal.
what do you
back
think
in
of
the
this?
day.
Like, rapper
They
go to
used
the
to do
league
it.
thing.
They used
I
to do
think-
a lot of hip hop cereal back in the day.
The problem with like, I think the problem to answer, not to answer all our questions, but fucking, there's always been that issue. Like, why shit like that? Like, it's dope because I know like things are getting out, but at the same time, I see some fake chips and all that shit is so kind of corny.
What the Migo
The
chips?
chips and shit like that. Like that's
The rap
essentially
snacks?
the
Good.
next.
Hell no.
But like
rap
I
snacks are
don't know.
pretty good.
Song and snack,
I
delicious.
find them
I
weird.
fucked with rap snacks.
I mean, like just the whole like.
You find the
hip-hop
concept
chips.
weird?
Yeah, the concept weird.
It's
like,
you
I
find
don't
it.
get it, but
I'ma
that's probably just
I'ma
because
be
it's
honest.
never been introduced. so
That's what it is.
I'm
honestly,
like weird for the change.
you think
but,
it
like,
looks weird? Like
I know
what
it
the
needs
hell?
to happen
Migos
as a
has
media
chips.
person. Like yeah.
Like yeah, Migos should have chips.
They
If
need
you
to
saw
have
Tom Brady
hip-hop
on the bag,
labels
you
and
would not feel weird because they've been doing that for years.
Facts.
They've had like
It
Tom
shouldn't
Brady
be weird,
and
right?
stuff. Like you see the football player on the can of Coca-Cola and stuff like that, like the Patriots
Yeah.
and all that. Like, why not hip hop? Like they show sports and all that stuff. Like you know what I mean?
No, hip hop has a real long, deep way to go in terms of
it's
being
well,
industry.
hip-hop-
It's still
'Cause
young.
it's
I
still-
was just
right.
asking, it's so young. Like
Shit is
sports,
like-
of course, has
my
been there
mom
for
is older
years
than
because
hip-hop.
sports is freaking ancient. Like sports has been around since before media was even around.
Hip hop is younger than all our grandparents and probably some of our parents.
But it's
some
still young.
Or some people's parents. That
But
you
it's
know.
still young.
Yeah, saying
it's
it's young.
still
It's younger
super
than all of them.
young.
That's crazy. It's
yeah.
younger than people that we know that are alive today.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, when did hip hop start, in your opinion?
Well, yeah, that depends on how far back you go. But if we're gonna be real, we're gonna
Like
talk,
80s,
Let's
though.
say 80s.
yeah,
Yeah, and like my mom was
late-
born in the 60s, so
mid
like
to
my
late.
mom's older than hip hop.
80s.
I'm
And
so-
that's still
I know
underground
it goes.
stuff.
People
to
say
be
you can
I
go
say-
back to the
'cause
60s,
I mean, you could say the same
70s.
thing about the internet.
I say the birth of hip hop,
Which is weird.
More late 80s. I'm like global,
Like
really
full,
when hip hop was
like-
like hip hop.
Yes, like
was
all
like
around the
end
world,
of the 80s
like
and early 90s
yeah,
because
like-
of the internet and TV and stuff. But like before that, hip hop was still just in America, just like
in certain spots.
in certain spots. But then like
You
in
had
the
to
90s
find
and
it.
stuff, it became something that was. That's why I feel like hip hop was like really, really born. But I understand like hip hop was actually born in like 1970s and shit. You know?
Maybe 60s.
I'm from the South Bronx, man. I know my history, but I know my shit. saying?
Nobody.
From the Bronx.
I know from the Bronx.
And we was just talking about a meme that he was saying his boy showed me. It was like nobody.
and then it said,
And then
niggas
it
from
said
the Bronx.
niggas from the Bronx. Hey, yo, from the Bronx. Like,
Yeah,
no matter,
it said
nobody
niggas
said
from the Bronx.
anything.
Nigga from the
He
Bronx.
just
Wait,
randomly
okay.
says that shit. It's
I've been
dumb
seeing
funny.
that all over. Yo, we
That's
all
real
do
shit,
Twitter.
real
That's
shit.
something we all have in
Real
common
shit.
that I feel like is
Well, I
not
just
something
started
everybody.
Twitter.
Really?
I just got back. All right, let me be real with you. I used to
Right.
be on
Everyone
Twitter for
made it in
years.
2011.
And I
Fell
was
back.
on that.
Now people are
I
kind of.
just got back in it because I just have to.
'Cause
How about
Instagram
Reddit?
Came out,
Y'all
everybody
on
went to
Reddit?
Instagram, and now niggas is
I've
back
been
on
doing
Twitter.
good on Twitter. I've got like
I don't know
Jazz the
Reddit.
Rapper following me. I was like, eh. But I don't
Reddit.
like. I mean, she's just she's starting to pop. Like, and I fuck with her music.
That's dope.
And if we're gonna talk about,
It's
the
a
future
great
and stuff real
networking
quick,
tool.
That's not-
Girls rapping is becoming
Yo.
a big thing, and I'm
Yeah.
loving it.
It's
Right,
so
because
lit.
I'm loving
it fixes every single
Yo,
problem
look
with
up
rap.
Jazz the Rapper. I fuck with Jazz the Rapper.
J-A-Z-Z?
J-A-Z.
Uh-huh.
J-A-Z.
Jazz the rapper.
She
'Cause
go
even the
hard. She
R&B
got bars. Like
That's tight.
Bro, even
I'm
the-
actually
even
thinking
the
about a
R&B
YouTube
girls
video
got
about that.
bars.
she
You
rapped
listen
over
to
Middle
R&B
Child.
music, they be having bars.
Where's she from?
I don't even know. I want to say New York, but I might be mad ignorant to say that. Let me not say.
Have
New
you
York.
heard of her?
But I've
No.
seen some.
Alright.
I've heard,
a lot
I've
of her
seen the
videos.
name because I like on my
stuff.
feed as artists that are coming up and stuff. But I haven't taken the
And
time.
she's
to-
Alright.
dope. She's still
To listen
new, and
to
she
it.
like she's
Yeah.
not interactive with her fans.
I gotta
right
catch
now.
up on
Like,
that.
That's-
female
that's
artists. I
what's
got,
so
like, a
nice,
whole
and
list
that's
of
why I
female
like
artists
Twitter.
That I need
Yeah,
to catch up
because,
on. I got like 5.
Okay,
female
name a
artists I need.
couple.
Like I've heard a few no name songs, but like I really have to
To
dive
really
into it.
listen to No Name.
Absolutely
Yeah,
No
that's
Name,
somebody
like, obviously
who's I mean,
um
I was riding home on the
I'm
bus
trying to
from
remember
New
her
York,
name.
and
It's
somebody
just-
like made me download my Apple Music.
there's this
Tierra
rapper
Whack
from-
too.
yes,
I hear that name
Tierra
all the
Whack.
time. but I
there's this
haven't
rapper
quite
from England.
Checked her out.
I
Who is
believe.
Tierra Whack? And like not to be
From
disrespectful,
Europe.
I know.
I just don't know.
I just
Like,
heard
I
she
just
got
hear that
bars.
name all the time.
She's from Philly. That's
Yo,
what
yeah, I
know.
heard about Yes Jules.
And I think, yeah, no.
Oh,
Like news wise,
man.
no.
That shit was crazy.
Yeah,
The freestyle. She freestyle.
She
Yeah.
freestyled.
And
She's trying to do music, or
she's
it's just
white
fun.
and
Nah,
she
she's
said
done
some
music
really
before,
racist
but she
shit.
said
She said that she basically, I can't say it word for word, but basically said that she brings more to the culture than most black women do.
That's old news, though, right?
That's kind of old, but like her newest thing. Like I say, like 3 weeks old.
Oh, okay. No, that's new.
Yeah.
I heard about some stuff kind of like that, like
I was like,
Oh no, yeah,
last
there's
year,
other
like
stuff.
way
there was
long
other stuff
ago.
about her before. Now she apparently, I don't know about Yes Jules like that. I just heard about this and I saw the freestyle and I was like, hell, like shit. And then I feel fucked up because it's like, that like seeing the freestyle is like I shouldn't have went to go see it. I should have just heard about it and been like that's it and not go
Nah,
give
you
it.
always go see the
Not because
source.
then you gotta
No,
go
you
give it.
don't.
No, because
you
then you're giving it attention.
No.
I don't
Giving
like
it-
that.
you're
If you
giving
hear
it a
about
click, you're
Tekashi,
giving it a number. If you
yeah,
don't want
if you
that
hear
negative shit,
Tekashi did
no.
something stupid, why go click Tekashi did something
'cause
stupid?
then
And
it's
giving
gonna
it
pop
the,
up on more
that's
people's
what he
pages.
wants. That's what he's doing the stupid shit for.
Yeah, but you think she did it as a publicity stunt, or you
Why
think
would
the
you
backlash?
not? Whoa,
is,
hell no. Why do you think? You think a white girl saying I give more to the culture than black girls do?
I mean,
in
she
her
did it
rap.
live. She did it live on radio and then
Yeah,
released the
and-
video after.
You saying
So
that's
she did
not
it
for
live.
attention?
It was an interview.
Okay.
She was in a. I think she was interviewing.
I'm gonna
Soulja Boy.
watch it to see what
She
I
was interviewing
the
Soulja
vibe
Boy,
I get.
think. It was when
No,
Soulja
she
Boy was doing his
literally
radio shit.
says, "I bring more to the fucking like I bring more to the culture than these black women do." Like not word for word, but
Yeah, that's
pretty much
disrespectful.
word for word. Like that's
Because
bad.
she does all her,
Only
her
way to break
business
it down.
stuff, so she's like saying that she brings more to the culture than the people that are saying that she's culture vulture or whatever. That's like her argument in the freestyle because she tries to go back at her haters. So that's
And
like
you
the whole
saw the-
argument.
Is it
But the way
is
she
it
went about
wrong?
it was-
Is it wrong to pop your shit?
It
in
was
the
Soulja
like-
Boy.
right? Yeah,
She was interviewing Soulja
yeah,
Boy.
Soulja Boy
think he,
was like hyping it up. I was like, "Oh, this is nasty."
Yeah, it was kind of
But
weird.
Yeah, that
isn't
got
it
weird
kind of
as
like
soon-
popping
as
your
soon as she
shit
said
at the
that,
same time?
energy got off in that room.
Yeah,
You
it was
saw
when
it.
Soulja Boy was doing his
Yo, the energy
radio
was
like,
off
it
in
was
that
like-
room as soon
it was
as it
like the third
happened.
interview
He had a
probably
run.
did.
Ooh, someone
Damn.
on the
Navy
phone.
bitches is calling.
I literally don't even know what I do in the situation.
Uh-oh.
I'll turn the ringer down.
Yo, what if
Yo,
it's
your bitch
what
is
if
calling,
you
bro.
pick up and he's like a murderer or some shit? Like I'm watching y'all. This is a good podcast.
Nah, it's gonna be Joe Budden. Like, yo, y'all niggas talking shit.
He's like,
heard about your podcast.
what if he's like, yo, this episode?
Spotify wants to give you a deal.
He's like, I can see the energy in the room. This looks like it's gonna be a good one.
This is right.
I
I
might-
felt it
I
from
might
states
end
away.
I might end it with a bang.
Yeah, you watch that shit, OD.
All right. So getting back to podcasts, do we like longer or shorter podcasts?
I like the 3 hour, 4 hour.
You like the
podcast.
4 hour
Yeah,
shit.
we
But
was
I
just
can
talking about this.
appreciate. But I can appreciate. I hate a 15, 11 minute.
It's too short.
Way too short.
11 minutes? Yeah.
I think a half hour.
But I
I
think
like-
there's something to be said about accessibility.
35. 11 minutes is a weird ass time. I'm never gonna give up 11 minutes.
Do you know why
to
it's?
watch
Do you know why
it.
11 minutes is where you can monetize YouTube? Like if you make a video shorter,
I
than
know,
that,
I know,
you
I
can't
know.
even
But I know
monetize
about
it.
the 10-minute mark. It's 10 minutes, but well, over 10 minutes. So if you even make 10:01, you're good. But why would I spend 10 if I only have 10 minutes?
Yeah,
I'm not spending it on YouTube video.
you're gonna spend it on like an iPhone game.
Yeah, maybe that or a drink of water. Like, you know, if you only have 10 minutes to yourself, you're probably really busy.
Yeah.
And you're probably gonna grab a snack, you know, check your text messages.
So where are you
You're
getting
gonna
3
go
hours?
You're gonna go what when you have 3 hours to yourself. Like
That's the, I don't see. We were saying that before.
That's
you
the thing.
Have a life so you can do that.
all right,
I
so
I be
yeah,
busy as
I
shit.
work late night.
There's
so
like
I'm
the
different, right?
commuter
I have a
slash
yeah, you know,
person
even,
that has a job where they
that's
can.
the type of people who listen to
be
podcasts.
on their phone.
You're driving, yeah.
I want
that-
to listen to podcasts too.
You can listen to it in chunks too. If you
That
go,
shit is terrible.
they have all. The, if you
Yeah,
go in
it
the comments,
really
of
feels
most
like
good
one.
podcasts,
Yeah.
most good podcasts, and advice for you, since you're starting your podcast, they section out what they're talking about and timestamp it. So you can go and just
Oh,
be
no,
like,
yeah, I do,
okay,
but-
I want to hear this real quick. I want to hear that real quick. You know, there's a part of the podcast like I don't know anything about sports. I'm not a sports person. So in the Joe Budden podcast, they talk about sports and stuff. I just skip right past
Get
it
to
and
the
go to the
next
timestamp.
topic.
Boom. So sometimes,
But I
and
listen
actually,
to it. I
to
can't.
this point, I just listen to it now.
I can't. I
'Cause they
listen
be
to
cracking
it,
the
but it
jokes
should
in
be
the
dumb
middle, they
funny.
talk about other stuff.
Yeah,
I
when
end
a
up listening to
podcast
it.
when a podcast has interesting people in it, and they no matter what they talk about, it's
Oh, yeah,
interesting.
they-
Right. That's the
Then,
thing, and
like,
that's
I
why.
get, I get caught up in it. Like I would want the short because it keeps me from listening to the stuff I don't really care about. Because sometimes, like with that pod, they go on tangents, so they'll start talking about something and then start talking about some other shit.
Exactly.
And then get back
And
to the
it-
thing I wanted to listen to, and they went on 30 minutes on something else I didn't like.
you
didn't really care about,
but you
like-
did care about. Like,
But
they'll
it's
talk
useful.
about stuff that's
yeah,
like really
that's
good.
what I think about.
Like the conversations they bring up are like really freaking good.
It
And
is.
like,
It's with them, but I feel like not everyone. Can
Not
do
everyone
that.
can do that,
So
yeah.
there should be some shorter. I don't think everybody should be striving for our podcast. You got to build.
There should be a
like,
business where they
yeah.
do the spark notes
Yeah.
of everybody.
yeah, spark
This-
notes.
this is
That's
the good stuff.
spark
Because
notes,
you don't
that's
have
funny.
time.
Facts. Oh no, but then
spark,
they
though.
do
One
they
day.
do separate videos, but like
Yeah, I feel that
Yes.
there's the shorter video. Yo, somebody wants me.
Yeah, someone's trying to get you.
Yo.
Yo.
No.
Who? Oh,
No,
what's that?
just
Oh, okay.
This is actually.
He's got something going on. He said.
I confirm it was a female's name on that phone.
Oh, Mahid,
That's speculation.
Or was it
pimping and sipping,
conspiracy theories of the 413?
pimping and sipping.
Who called me?
Who called Mahid?
That's another podcast.
Do we
Yeah,
have
that's
it?
a whole segment,
No.
yo.
Y'all on the
I
conspiracy
want some
theory
money for that
stuff?
if you do that. Me and Dayla got a cut.
Okay.
Facts.
Yes.
Mysteries.
New podcast coming in like 2 months. Mysteries of the
of
413.
Mahid.
No, weren't you gonna do a podcast,
Not just
Conan?
Mysteries of Mahid.
What's your podcast gonna be about?
I don't
We gotta
know,
get
I'm
on
like-
that.
I'm gonna do a host chat in a sense, but it's a podcast. Yeah, but that's the type of podcast I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
In a sense, I'm gonna just be by myself now. I've kind of decided to be alone, and I'm just gonna bring like about 3 to 4 people on at a time and mix up the guests. You'll see repeat guests.
What are you gonna call it?
Full circle.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Oh, look out for that.
Yeah. Full
Yo.
circle, full
Oh.
chat.
Are you gonna do it like on couches and stuff?
That'd be lit.
Yeah. You seen my crib before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There.
So basically, I'm gonna sit like I'm gonna have it all set up.
You got that equipment?
No, not yet, but I will get the equipment. Tax money coming in. So
I heard.
yeah, I'm gonna get
That's
that.
a good
and,
little bag.
Yeah, I'm gonna be having it's gonna be like guests. Like you remember the No Jumper? Well, it wasn't even No Jumper then. It was just Adam 22 when he interviewed X and he had all his boys there.
Yeah.
Something like that, but less hectic. And,
Got you.
Or just like 47 minutes with Joy Badass, like how he's interviewing people. And
Yeah,
stuff.
that.
But I don't want it to be. I'm not gonna interview the people. Like
It's gonna be
you
a
know how
chat.
you're plugging us in and stuff. There's gonna be no plugs. I'm just introducing their names and then we're just talking about stuff.
Got you.
And if you know them, you'll watch it. And if you don't, well, you
Here's this
saw
person's
them
might just
opinion
watch it.
on random shit.
on
Right.
random shit, yeah.
On whatever Brandon decides to talk about that day.
Right, you're not gonna learn anything about them pretty much.
Yeah. It's more just to talk about.
Just to
topics.
talk about things, and it's like, and it won't be just artists, like rappers. It'll be anybody who's involved in anything really. If they're doing photography, if they're doing graphic designing, if they're doing videography, if they're doing dancing, if they're doing podcasting, if they're rapping, if they're singing, if they're producing, anything. Gonna get them involved because people who do things have better opinions. They're more articulate and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
and random people.
than just random people
Yeah.
doing a host chat. So
I really like that idea, and I feel like the more I just like find people that are like me, I'm like, damn, like this is crazy.
yeah,
We're all thinking the same things, and the communication just has to be better.
Podcast is gonna evolve because we're all thinking the same thing, and that's why I slacked on my podcast for a while because it's like I know I'm thinking the same thing as everybody else. I haven't came up with a super unique idea yet. The only thing I think is kind of unique is the idea that I'm not necessarily going to be plugging anybody's stuff.
Yeah.
What
What do you think he
that's
could
not
do for a
even
gimmick?
unique. I'm stealing that from Joe Budden.
I don't know, I have like
kind of does
4
that
or
too.
5 gimmicks that I have for whatever shit I do whenever I want.
What?
I got a few shits.
What is one you're probably not gonna use that people could steal if they're watching this? All your ideas are that good? Damn.
You
These are
can't.
fire.
Well,
It's not
you
gonna
think
happen.
people are
Get on the
lazy?
ass.
You sleeping on the audience. There's someone out there.
There's someone out there trying
Bro,
to.
scam culture real, bro.
Yo,
The internet, niggas scam each other for ideas every
Yo,
single
why do
day,
you think
back and forth,
random
bro.
people just get followed by like big ass celebrities and stuff? Like,
Because
they
they're
watching.
they're the well.
They
of
watching. They know.
goodness.
When I get some followed by some check marks, I'll be like, okay, people watching my shit.
Facts.
I be looking at my reach. My reach be high. I have not hit 100 likes yet on a picture. Right? That's low key low balling myself. I'm nice though. My reach.
We're talking about Twitter.
Yeah, no, we're talking about Instagram.
Okay.
I've reached 98 likes. I be getting like 80 likes and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Like
yeah.
I never hit like 100 though.
Yeah.
But freaking but when I go to check my reach, I be getting like 1,000, 2,000 sometimes, like on reach, like, and then like 600, 300 and stuff like that. Like, then the reach is how many people with check marks looked at the picture.
Really?
It tells you that in the insights. It says how many verified accounts.
Where do you
saw
look
this
at
picture.
insights?
You have to make a business account on your Twitter, and
Oh.
then you can go and check your insights and stuff. It's easy. You can just switch your account to a business account. Like, just go do it. It doesn't cost anything. Just do it, and then you can check your insights and stuff. It's actually pretty cool. It's not like everything, but it's like a lot of stuff. Like, they give you like how many people with verified accounts checked it, how many accounts total seen it, how many like what your audience ranges and age, where they're from, what time of the day they're on, how many people look at your stories. You can even look at all your old stories and check out, like, they never erase, and you can see how many people looked at them and stuff like that, which is crazy that they never erase, right?
That shit is nuts.
Because they erase, right, when they vanish from
Yeah.
your timeline, but you know, they actually, you could just go into your insights.
Yeah,
and
they're
see all
there.
that. Yeah, so they're somewhere.
That's crazy.
You know,
I
saw a
heard that about
video on
Snapchat too,
YouTube,
but it's not
and
accessible.
I
on
didn't
Snapchat.
click it. I want to watch it. It's like from a YouTube page I'd be watching that they just I forgot exactly what it's called, something in science, and they'd be talking about like stuff, and it was called like what really happens to deleted things on the internet, and it's like I wanted to click it. I forgot to click it though.
I bet they're all archived.
I need to know what happened.
I don't know. I've been running into. Nah, I keep running into.
Yo, are we gonna? Is someone coming?
Maybe.
They blowing you up.
That was a ransom.
I'm just saying they've been calling both. Yo, it's quiet in this house. Yo, I don't like how quiet it's
Yeah.
been.
Why?
I'm from the Bronx,
Yo,
man.
I'm
We used to the noise
I'm
now.
from the Bronx, yo, for real. Like, it's
Yo.
not quiet.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna try and steal that post.
Nah.
Just
Yo,
recreate it.
Yo,
I'm
that
from the
gotta
Bronx.
be your
Yo, I'm-
slogan in your podcast.
From the
Gotta
Bronx.
I'm
like,
from the
You
Bronx.
know, I'm from the Bronx, so
Yo, I'm from
this is
the
what
Bronx.
I think.
You
like.
know what's crazy is after we had that conversation.
Yo.
Well, before I had it, like I was thinking earlier
That's-
that I'm gonna start saying that when I'm playing games and shit. Like when I'm killing people, I'm gonna just be like, "Yo, I'm
Right.
from the Bronx." And
It's a great. It's
they're gonna
it's
talk
a cover
shit.
all.
They're gonna be talk shit like, you know how
there's
those
no
little
situation
those
where
little
that's not
kids
a
be like, "You
permissible thing to
fucking
say."
nigger," and be like, "Yo, I'm from the Bronx." Talking about boo, 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 boo.
Y'all on video
Yo,
games?
I hate those white kids, man, that be just sitting there on
Wait a
Xbox
minute.
and PlayStation 4. We gotta talk about that.
Did you
Something
get Jump
needs to
Force?
happen about that. No,
Who
I
got
did not.
Jump
I got
Force?
Jump Force, yeah.
I feel like
Why
you
have
know.
that? Does that
Come
happen on Jump
on, you don't
Force?
think it looks good or what?
Yo,
It
thank
looks
you,
People are
bro. It
playing
looks
that.
terrible. It looks
It
terrible.
looks-
Let's not make
It
this a
looks
Jump Force.
okay, but Jump
It-
Force,
it-
I've heard it's pretty.
Jump
dodgy.
Force is the epitome of what every anime game has been ever since all anime games has been. It's just
Trash.
got prettiest graphics, and it's exactly that trash.
Nah,
They're-
Budokai 3.
Yo, there's all right.
But Budokai 3 doesn't have
Dragon
the
Ball
best
Z
graphics.
games are separate from anime games. That's
How?
not disrespect because they're amazing. They
'Cause
do
they've
good
been around
jobs.
They
on
longer.
have
it.
American money. put in
Right,
it.
exactly. They do
Developers.
good
Oh.
jobs. They do good jobs on Dragon Ball Z games. J
Facts.
Stars and Jump
Oof.
Force are like the same game, except Jump Force is just more refined and smoother. But it's the same game.
Progress.
It's the same.
The same game? Oh, you mean like Madden 2017 and 2018?
I don't play
But
sports.
yeah,
games,
I
so you
hate
can't-
sports games.
Yeah.
I really don't like sports games
They
either.
bore the
Yeah.
shit out of me.
I
There's-
used to play.
you could just
shout
play a
out to
sport.
3-on-3 street ball, like back in the day. What was
Don't get it
fucking-
fucked up. I'm nice as
Street
games. I hop
3-on-3.
on 2K and bust niggas' ass. It don't matter.
Oh nah, I don't play 2K.
Because games, because sports games are fucking easy. If you know how to play sports, you can play a sports game. Like, it's not that difficult. They're
Yo, you're gonna
boring
get the
as
2K
shit.
dudes mad.
There's a lot of 2K dudes for some reason.
You're gonna get them mad.
Bro.
You can't say. I don't know. I know if I tried to play 2K with one of these dudes, I get spanked. So I don't think you could just say.
I know. Well, everybody's nice at 2K, and I'll bust a few of everybody's asses without ever playing 2K. I can't lie, though. I'll be picking the good teams.
Oh, okay.
That helps.
Okay. He said, I don't know how to
What-
play.
what
Yeah.
were
my
you
fault.
gonna-
These niggas pick booty ass teams. I'm like, bitch,
You
where
said-
LeBron at?
Right.
Show you how this.
Bring him to the
How
Bronx.
does
Oh, I just knew it. We were looking in each other's eyes trying to make a Bronx joke.
I was like, bring him to the
No.
Bronx.
What were you going to say
I
about
grew up on shit talking to video games.
video games? You're about to say something. You said, oh, we need to talk about this, not Jump Force.
You need to talk about how they
Oh,
are
they get
lazy with
monetized.
all anime games. Every time they come out with anime games, besides the Naruto games are okay, but Dragon Ball Z games are
Naruto
great.
games are pretty
The
good.
Naruto games are okay. Let's not gas
Very
them up.
good,
They're
yeah.
lazy. They're lazy.
They're fun as fuck.
They're
When
good
you play
fighting
the,
systems.
when you
Ultimate
play it the
Ninja
first
was
time.
They're
great.
different.
Now Ultimate
Yeah,
Ninja Storm
like-
can get out of here.
They don't have that much replay value. To be honest.
I don't
I'll
like
play
Ultimate Ninja Storm. Ultimate Ninja was amazing.
bro.
I guess I'm a hipster.
I'll
They
put
had one
Ninja
just now.
Storm 4.
I'll go hipster with it. But
Uh,
Storm 4
Bro,
was
they had-
alright.
They
Yeah.
had one for the
Storm
Game
4
Boy
is
that I
pretty
fuck
good.
with.
I'm not gonna hold.
Yeah.
I like Storm 4.
They
My
had
girl
one for
bought
the
it
Game
and
Boy that
I
I
was
fuck
busting
with.
it down. Freaking, but nah, I don't know. Naruto games, I don't know. Like they're not that good. Like they're okay. Like they're good, I guess.
Well, I mean,
Like
they're
I,
right.
I wish
the
I
only-
could say I wish Jump Force was like Storm. If Jump Force was like Storm, it'd be better. It's just Jump Force is so sloppy, and they didn't even care. You could tell they made the game just to sell the game.
Yeah.
yeah, I have,
Like they wanted to sell it quick. Like everything is whack. Like did you see the customization? They have 1 million of just T-shirts with black and white images on it, and just different colors of like the same.
Right, and then they're gonna come with the
whack.
DLC, like look
Maybe
like this, look like that.
I don't even know. Like as people are
They're-
selling the game so much.
they're going all anime right now is it's a whole nother podcast. I have a whole theory on like where anime is headed
Anime,
and like how Japanese culture's taking over
because
the
it's
world.
just finally really being recognized as an American part of American culture.
Yeah,
Like-
America's
Yeah.
fucking
Yo,
taking
did you
past-
see the Kid
America's
Boo
pushing it up.
interview at radio? He
Nah,
was just
why are we talking about
Ah.
this?
of course he
Why
didn't.
do we-
Why are you bringing up Kid Boo?
Because
Is-
because he's
Car-
named after Dragon Ball Z
Like,
character.
he's
Nah,
nuts.
we
and
don't-
we're not
But
getting
yeah,
into
he's
this.
not with it. But
Yeah.
essentially what I was gonna say is that like yeah,
That's a-
nerd culture went
interesting
from
point.
like get bullied about this to like be about it if you want to be popular.
Everyone calling us weird.
I'm glad.
I'm
Are you
actually
glad
happy-
things are shifting, or are you mad that a bunch of posers are gonna
No,
like
I'm
hot
not-
girls are gonna be like, yeah, I grew up. No, you fucking didn't.
No, you fucking
No, you fucking didn't.
I
That
mean, there's gonna
that
be posers with
kills
anything
me.
that's popular.
Yeah,
I
so,
know.
because what's
Did you
popular-
want to
But
keep
I'm-
anime or not?
popular
Is
No,
what
is
I'm
I'm,
asking.
asking.
I'm happy it's going this way because like
a
we're
lot
getting
of good
better
shit
stuff.
is gonna come out of it.
Yeah, we're getting way
like,
better
bro, that
stuff.
Broly
Just
movie
better
is
shit.
insane, bro.
And
I
what
was
I'm
gonna
ready
ask you
for-
about that.
Even
I
though the
didn't see
story's
it.
trash, but it's animated
thinking-
beautifully.
I got a theory that in the next 20 years we're gonna get a lot of American animes.
We need
That's
that.
tight. Yeah,
We
like
need
Avatar:
good
The Last
animes.
Airbender.
Like animes that
Is like
actually,
the
because I
American
feel like
anime to
I
me.
feel like if we knew Japanese and we lived in Japan, anime would actually be 1,000,000 times better. Because
Yeah.
we don't understand
understand
their
that culture.
So I bet you there's 1,000,000 things that they're doing with body language, things that they're saying that are
Yo.
getting lost in translation,
And the
stuff like that,
because when
that we
anime
miss
came
out
to
on.
United States,
like
it was like for kids, right? It was
Yeah.
like
There's, like, little
censored.
things they can
But
do
now it's
that
gonna
we
be
don't
like
know.
Family
Perfect
Guy. People
example-
understand
perfect
it's not
example what you just
censored.
said. Any y'all seen Persona, the animes?
I watched the first episode of it. I
There's-
liked it, but then I didn't watch anymore.
I'm watching my little brother right now, right? Because Joker's gonna be in Smash. I was like,
Wait,
yo, who's
real
this
quick,
nigga?
my
So,
bad.
so I'm catching up on
Is
all the
there
Personas.
Persona? Is it all Persona 5 or is it Persona 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Because I saw Persona 5.
They only
first
have 4 and
episode.
5 as animated. It's just because they go based on the game. The game comes out, then the anime comes out.
Okay,
So the
I
game
gotta
came
watch
first?
It's based
And
on
So
the
I
game.
gotta watch
yeah.
4 first.
Yeah, 4 is I
Bet.
think the first
I
one.
didn't
Unless
even
they
know
have I don't think
My
they have a
baby
3. I gotta. I'll check and get back to you on that. I don't think they have a 3.
Bet.
But in Persona 4, because it's based off a video game, the way everything starts, it's like he goes into this velvet room or whatever, and it's as if you're the main character and you have people talk to you like God. And the girl, she was saying a word in English, and you know in Japanese the R's and L's are like flipped. She said it with the L in English, and I was like, oh my bad, R's and L's are difficult. And like my little brother explained it to me after. I didn't know what the fuck she said. Honestly, I was on my phone. I wasn't paying attention. Then he like explained it to me because he was puzzled about it. And then like it was like, oh, because in Japanese when they try to say things in English, it's always like they have a lot of R's wherever the L is. That's how they say English words.
That's why this
Like
got
with their
that
accent, yeah, with the R, like how they
Yeah.
how like the Korean stuff and all, like they'll always do like super racial, like the over R,
Yeah.
the over R using like.
That's dope.
But that's really why the way the language is set up, their R's and L's like the sound switch.
That's dope.
So that was like a joke in the anime, which goes to the point that like, nigga, how am I supposed to understand that? I don't speak
Right.
Japanese.
I don't
Like,
speak Japanese.
I sat there and I was like, what? And he had to explain it to me for like 10 minutes. I was like, and like showed it to me. I was like, oh shit, that's fucking hilarious.
That's
actually.
dope,
That's
actually.
actually
Yeah.
hilarious. And, like,
It's
I
like-
missed the
actually
joke.
really funny.
There's a lot of shit like that. Like it does get
I've heard about that too.
repetitive to me of like
Right,
all
and
the
that's why I feel
uniforms.
like it's gonna
and
be really cool when we start getting American anime and like I think it's gonna be interesting to see like the way they draw the scenery and stuff, because like our scenery is way different. Like our lifestyles are way different. We're not living these.
We don't have fantasized lifestyle.
We don't have these uniform lifestyles. And living around and these weird like type shit. Like look at our comic books. I guess are American anime, right? But you know we're actually gonna get American anime pretty soon. You get what I mean
had
by
this
that.
whole conversation.
And like comic books like
with
show American life. That's why like comic books are still super popular and can compete with anime. And that's why I personally love comics, because it's like you get American life out of those comics. You get the stuff that you relate to in those things. You can't really relate to an anime character because you don't know anything about the way that guy lives. You can't understand like the way because sometimes I watch anime and you'll think like, yo, people would never act like that. People would never talk like that. People would never. But
it'd be dumb funny to us because we see how they act.
Obviously, people don't act like that, like all extra, but they do act like that in a sense.
Because that is part of their culture. Like you have the
weeaboos.
No one has like nosebleeds when they see a hot girl.
Yeah, you have the weeaboos and like the kawaii people, like you know the super anime people. Right. In Japan, you go around this probably doing all the stuff that anime people do because they're obsessed with. That's part of their everyday culture.
About, right?
But like
we're talking about,
we don't have that over
act
here.
Like what is going on? Like all right, like no one acts like a superhero. But you do. But when you read Batman, you do. There are people like there's parts of you that do act like Batman. Like you relate to certain things that Batman does.
The inspecting, like being paranoid and like inspecting shit. Like you understand
but
him
you
because
never
he's in
talk
America.
like him or act like him. But like you know what I mean. So it's like of course no one acts like Batman, and of course no one acts like Naruto. But I bet you there's influence there where people do kind of act like Naruto in a sense.
Because
believe
that's
it.
where the writers get their inspiration
Believe
from.
it. Yo. You did not give me the straightest face. I thought he was really about to give me some input. Like he just believe it.
Yo. But nah, like that's like, for instance, what agreeing with it will happen because they have this animated movie where Vince Staples is voice acting one of the animated movies. He's like the main character's side, like best friend or something. I haven't seen it yet. It's called Motherfuckers, but it's like MFKS. I already got good reviews and it's coming out, I believe, out here. But Vince Staples is voice acting in the anime, and it's like a hip hop. I think it's based in Cali, so it looks like California. But it's anime, and there's guns, and there's mobsters, and there's gangster shit.
That's hard. It already sounds like Boondocks, though.
Yeah, it's like Boondocks. That's why Boondocks was so popular. Yeah, the dark dude.
Yeah.
That's why Cowboy Bebop was so popular because it looks more like America. That's why Samurai Champloo was popular because it had a hip hop influence throughout it, and the way they act like Mugen and all this, like Jin acts like a
Well,
like,
the dub
Mugen
was amazing.
Like,
the dub was amazing. That's what
the voice.
They made it so that you could understand. Like it spoke our language. Basically.
Yeah, it spoke our language, and it had the hip hop influence to it, which made me gravitate. It made me gravitate towards it. Same way Afro Samurai would gravitate towards me to that is because
the hip hop influence.
RZA made the soundtrack.
Yeah, you cannot.
Like,
yeah,
come on, bro.
That's for the culture and a half.
That's what I need. Yo, imagine if a bunch of animes had like. Or even Megalobox.
We need an anime with all the freaking rappers as superheroes and stuff, basically. Well, not
I'm
but
afraid.
With superpowers, and like they like fight over territory and stuff like that. Like imagine like all right, so remember Def Jam Fight for New York?
Like the fact that
remember how the story of all of the rappers competing and fighting over territory? But imagine something like that, but anime and they have powers and stuff. And
like a
like
real MF Doom and a real
yeah, exactly. Like I always tell McJenkins could be like a wizard, like have like purple lightning and shit.
I'm like this nigga, what's his name? Like Ghostface, he calls himself Tony Stark. You have like him in an actual like wooed out Tony Stark.
Yeah,
outfit, like,
exactly. Like what? Like
RZA and them is like samurais, like all like
J. Cole have some holy freaking black spirit powers.
What would J.
What would they be?
Yo, what would the mainstream niggas? Yo, what would Drake's power be?
Yo, Drake
would be like Vega.
He would be like a brainwashing power, yo.
He'd be like some.
Yeah, he'd be like hypnosis. Like
damn.
He'd be like a.
Yo, is that disrespectful?
This is so creative. I really don't have any ideas off the top of my head.
Yo, we need that. Yo,
we giving y'all free ideas right now, bro.
Wish we said we wouldn't 20 minutes ago.
Kendrick would like lift his hand and like shit would just blow up. Like,
nah, he'd be really Kung Fu Kenny. He'd be really like,
yes,
yeah, that's what I'm
wilding out.
like
Yeah.
be on some Netero shit.
Like
from
that.
fucking
That's part of the
Hunter x
fact that
Hunter.
they're taking the Japanese culture's
Yo.
taking over. Like
Iron
Kendrick
Fist.
watched anime. All these artists that
Iron
listen to
Fist
all
with it,
watch
yeah.
all cartoons. They all watch that shit.
That's what I'm saying, yo. It would be dope, yo. ASAP Rocky
That'd be hard.
would be dope.
He
I
has
would
to
see
be in
him
it.
with like some purple.
He would have the
smoke.
most fly, like crazy ass, like superhero fits.
Right, the fashion.
Like the super designer suit. Like that.
Yo,
shit would be crazy.
what? All the hip hop people are superheroes with their own superhero universe, like a little comic superhero universe. Come on, what we doing?
Animation's
Yo,
still
they
hard
do-
though.
No,
And then
they
they
kind of do that
represent
though.
Where they from, and then
Well,
da da da. Like
They have those. I follow an Instagram page where they have like hip hop,
What?
like hip hop.
hip
People,
hop.
they make them as like OG toys. Like
But
they're,
then
like,
they can't be called the hip hop Avengers, and they can't be anything related. to
It
the
has to-
Avengers.
yeah,
it
it
gotta
has to
be
be its
completely
own thing.
original.
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah, it have to be original. and shit.
Like you
It
know,
should
a
be hard
hip
though.
hop super team. What?
I'm with it. Let's.
What's the hip hop?
Hopefully somebody cool sees
Nah,
this.
I don't think. I don't think we. I don't
Hopefully
think we
the
have
dudes
authority
doing
to
Young
make the
Justice
name.
see this.
We don't.
We don't have the authority to make the name.
Nah.
Nah, because Young Justice gay. I don't want to know what
Huh?
they would do to it.
Young Justice.
You think Young Justice, if the people who
You
make
know
Young
that show that
Justice
is?
had it,
The
you
DC
think
show.
they'd be able to make it?
That's a good show.
I really, really like that show. That's why I said it.
But do you
Because I
think
feel
the
like to
dudes
me
who
those
make
are.
I've
that
never
show-
watched
they-
it,
But do you think the dudes who make that show can make a hip hop superhero show?
don't
No, but
think
you get
people-
consultants.
But a
It'd have
hip
to
hop.
be-
But do you
to,
think they're
like,
gonna get
write
the
it.
right consultants?
Well,
people who
that
animate
goes back
DC
to your whole argument of anime coming to America. Do you think they're gonna do it right, or are we just gonna get a bunch of trash anime?
Right, because
But it's not gonna be taken over by like Marvel or DC. It's gonna be new.
it's
startups.
gonna be done right because we're gonna do it. Because
That's
the-
not how
the-
capitalism
the,
works.
The only people
Nah,
who are
it
gonna
is.
actually make anime in America
Yeah.
are the people who grew up on it and the people who really love it.
And that's really our generation.
Yeah, because
and
there are a
the
lot of people
generation
who are on
behind
the
us.
hype and want to wear the T-shirts and want to rock the clothes and
Are
share
older
the
than
stuff on
us.
Facebook, but they're not reading it. And if you're not reading manga,
That's
I
where it
doubt
all
you're gonna
comes from,
enjoy
right?
it.
Like even
Yeah,
all
they'll
these
watch
movies.
AMV and shit. Like, yeah, Naruto does the. Like,
Yeah,
because they like X
and
and,
they like
shit.
X and shit.
But
They're
that's
like,
it.
"Oh,
Like,
fuck, dog."
like, yo, yeah, Naruto's lead does the backflip in the X song. Like, that's,
Right, and I saw the way he beat Pain in that fight. You know?
Yeah,
you
like,
watch
they
a
watch, like,
3-minute
two seen the
version of
fights.
You watch
Yeah.
a 3-minute version of a 4-episode fight.
and all the memes with the dudes dancing, like, them shit is mad funny. But
Yeah,
the dude that
those
be
are
dancing up
not
as
funny,
Naruto, you know the
yeah.
videos? They be like,
No, I do.
they be bouncing.
They are
And
so
then they
Nah,
start
funny.
going,
but,
them shits are
but they're
hard.
real. But they're real.
Yeah, but
anime
he's
I
a real
hate
anime
those.
fan
He's a
making
real
real
anime.
hip hop media. Like,
Right,
that's
exactly.
it comes from the real people making it, but then
Yeah.
obviously there's gonna be people out there gonna
There's
take
just
it.
gonna be posers at the end of the day, and that's
'Cause then
anything
people-
that pops.
Yeah, that's anything that pops. But that you could tell that person's a real anime head, really likes hip hop music, put them together, made funny ass videos, and you can't like it's been copied. Like
Real
everyone copies mad
recognized
stuff.
real, man.
The real people always gonna come up with the
That
creative
just
stuff
happens.
first. Like Joe Budden says, yo, creative's gonna create. No matter who takes their ideas, creative's gonna find a way to make it. Creative's gonna create.
Y'all like Joe Budden.
That's my
Y'all
fucking
like
guy.
that man.
I mean, I'm not gonna fake
I mean,
it, bro.
yeah,
He's
I'm,
a.
like, biased.
I listen to his music. I've went to his concerts. Like,
That's
I-
your
I
guy.
fuck-
Nah,
I
do
fuck with
have a
him
lot
off of the
beef with Joe
music.
Budden, though.
Huh?
I do.
I
have a
don't
lot
agree
of
with
beef
everything he
Joe Budden,
says,
though.
but I like
Yeah,
the fact
I
that
have a
he's
lot
hon-
of beefs
like,
with Joe
what he
Budden.
says is
Like,
honest.
think
I have a
he's
lot of
dumb and annoying.
disagreements. and shit.
Sometimes he like needs to chill the fuck out.
He be
Like,
wilding.
Yeah,
That's
he
part
do
of the
be
reason
wildin'.
why you fuck with him because sometimes
That's
you
part
never
of
know.
his charm.
You never know what
Yeah,
he's gonna say
It's
on each
his
thing. He could either say some shit that's gonna be
irascibility.
like, "Man, what are you talking about?" But it's still entertaining.
And sometimes I hate
And
when he
sometimes
gets
he's gonna
lost
be-
in his arguments with Maul and Rory and like.
Yeah, he be
like,
fucking up. That shit
He be.
fucking up.
He
I don't
just
feel like
clearly
he-
be,
yeah.
Like, too like.
He be like, "What?"
The tangent is so gone that like he's literally just wrong, or they're both just saying the same thing, and Joe Budden just don't get it. It's like watching a person. You're like, no, like you want to jump into the screen, but like
The start, right.
But then
and
again,
correct it.
But then again, that's part of the brand.
that's part of the.
That's what
brand.
makes the pod. That's
Probably
the
does
thing.
that shit on purpose, right?
I'm pretty sure he does, because that's what you're gonna complain about. That's what's gonna. Even though
He
you're
wants people to
complaining,
complain, right?
You're gonna watch it again and to see if he does it again. Like you're gonna, unless
What
he
he
ODs
really wants
it.
is us doing this.
That
We
too.
killing it.
That too.
He's
Facts.
killing it.
Yeah, he definitely makes people do this shit.
Oh,
Oh, my mom's
call
home.
is-
Ma, how you doing? We're in the middle of recording. All right.
I've been called in.
Last
That's gonna be
thing.
cut.
Yes, definitely.
So Kaiden,
All right. No, I mean
playing.
we're gonna keep. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Monetizing podcast. That's what else we were talking about.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
And Joe Budden has monetized his podcast.
Yeah.
Facts.
See, so I don't
Shout
know
out to that
much
man.
About monetization.
Is it called the Joe Budden Podcast?
Yes.
It's
Oh,
called
wow.
the Joe Budden Podcast.
with Rory and Mal and friends.
Right.
Yeah, with Rory and Mal.
Who are friends?
Parks, Savon, Erickson.
Gotcha.
There's like 7 people there, even though there's only 3 people. On
Did
the
y'all? Okay, actually, I do watch a lot of Joe Budden. I just don't watch a lot of Joe Budden podcasts. Y'all like the pull up when he did pull up?
I honestly haven't seen them yet.
Watch them all.
Oof.
I want to, bro.
Great.
They're all so
They're
good.
so long, bro. I can't. I gotta keep up with.
What
the
else?
pull-ups
What other?
and the-
Well, we're gonna get your
You know, I'm
media
thinking
diet
about-
set,
I'm thinking
Listen,
so
about
you
doing
can make
listen,
time.
listen, hold
What
on,
do you?
hold on, listen,
What do you
listen.
have to watch?
I gotta watch these podcasts. I gotta watch animes. I gotta watch regular TV shows. I gotta. I gotta look for beats, write music.
I'm coming for regular
about-
TV shows in my
think
argument.
about
I don't think there's any good
all
regular
the
TV.
stuff that
Yo,
I need
watch
for my
The
music. It's
Umbrella
hard to keep
Academy.
up with everything.
Yo, have anybody here seen the
Umbrella Academy's fire. I've seen it. Don't spoil it. I
Netflix?
haven't finished it.
What episode you
Netflix?
on, though?
Like I'm almost done with it. Though.
What episode though?
They have like 3 days left to the apocalypse.
It's a good ass show.
Is that a cartoon? Is
Nah,
that
it's a
real
show on
people?
Netflix. It's really good. It's like
It's like the X-Men
superheroes
meets
type of-
Watchmen.
Yeah, it's like
Got you.
I would say like
X-Men meets
I would say
Watchmen.
like Watchmen meets
X-Men.
fucking what's it called?
X-Men.
Oh, I would say
They're
like
not X-Men?
No. Listen, what is it called?
There's no better.
They're
way.
X-Men.
Watchmen is pretty much the same thing. 'Cause if
It's
Watchmen
X2.
and
No,
X-Men-
Watchmen are not like the X-Men. They don't give you that X-Men vibe, that corny, cheesy, lovable X-Men Marvel vibe. They're
Wait, X-Men gives
perfect-
you a corny, cheesy vibe.
Yes.
When?
A little bit.
When the little jokes they be cracking, just the way they are. Yo, they're Marvel and they're way more cornier than DC. They give you that Marvel vibe, that Spider-Man vibe, and they do.
X-Men.
Is
They
Spider-Man
have deep
corny?
moments, but yes.
I think
feel like
corny is an
X-Men is
overused
depressing.
word.
Yeah,
like
that-
X-Men is
well,
depressing.
but
They're
to
always
describe
getting
like a
destroyed.
when you start
fun-loving
getting deeper into the
idea.
stories, yeah. But
But who's the funny? But
overall
who's the funny guy in
X-Men,
X-Men?
Like-
Gambit and Nightcrawler. That's it. Wolverine is serious.
They make
Cyclops
but
is
there's a lot
serious.
of there's a lot of like
Sarcastic shit.
yeah, sarcastic shit.
But
and
I didn't watch them.
satire,
I don't watch the movies.
and like
though, 'cause
just
the
like
movies
it's
suck.
situational funny.
You talking about the
stuff.
movies though?
And it's like yeah, the
the
movies a
movies
lot,
suck. I
and
don't
that's
watch
kind
them.
of exactly what I'm talking about. the
I'm talking
movies.
about the comics and like the
Well, yeah,
shows
you know,
that I
people don't-
watched growing
we're
up.
talking about a TV show. So
I know,
talking
but
about the
I'm really
media.
a nerd.
I'm talking about the media. So the
Right.
media, the X-Men movies.
That's just
are
Marvel.
really-
Period.
Yeah,
The
so
jokey
it's like
joke,
it's
yeah.
perfect
I don't-
blend of the X-Men movies and the Watchmen movie.
Well, yeah, the X-Men movies. Okay, X-Men movies. Yes.
Plus.
I don't think
Alright.
it.
Plus that
puts
it's like
the-
Marvel
what
and
the X-Men
DC.
really is in Marvel and like as an actual.
And
brand,
that's facts. They
I
are
don't-
depressing.
They're not.
Yeah, they're
not
super
like the
depressing,
Umbrella
dark
Academy.
story.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
but the movies. Yeah, they're definitely.
Actually, I'd say they are like the Umbrella Academy if you actually believe me. Because the Umbrella Academy is kind of.
But they're not. It's different. Like the Umbrella Academy is dysfunctional for like
Don't spoil it though.
comedy. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
but
talking
it's
about,
like
the X-Men is like. I don't know. It's, just
it's
different.
not dysfunctional just for comedy. That they're like dysfunctional because that's.
I mean,
shit,
as
that's
fuck,
the
but,
whole
like,
show,
It's funny to like. I don't
and
really
it's also
feel,
what the show is
I
about.
feel
Like
bad for them.
it's dynamic. Yeah, okay,
feel
I
like
get
the
what your
X-Men
point.
go through more shit.
Nah,
They're just
I feel
family
bad for
issues.
them,
The
though.
X-Men are
Nah,
literally.
I feel bad. For
Well, let's be real. The X-Men literally are supposed to represent
you just
racism.
you just
Yeah.
sad Jean died.
I don't fuck about
Huh?
Jean. She was whack. She's better as the Phoenix. She's way more powerful.
Yeah, she
Like,
is.
fuck the regular Jean Grey. shit
That
was
movie's
corny.
coming.
All right, but we're
It's
getting
not
off
gonna
on
be good,
comic
though.
books and stuff like that.
But no, but maybe
Umbrella
we'll pop
Academy is
up.
good.
Monetizing
We off on a
podcast.
tangent.
That's where this
Monetizing
started.
podcast.
But
Monetizing podcast.
We can talk about your thing.
Nah, that's good. That's good.
Nah, we gotta
Nah,
go
nah.
with it.
I mean, we got like.
We've been dragging
Yeah.
this.
We're
Extreme
close to an
tangents.
hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've had extreme. tangents.
Hardcore.
We planned on 20 minutes, but
Hardcore.
it is what it is.
Well, I don't mind
So
it.
monetizing.
We're gonna hone in.
wait, wasn't that what we were talking about this whole time?
Yeah, but then we started arguing about what is Umbrella Academy.
Well, we started arguing about what's must-watch television.
We started arguing about
Must-watch
hip-hop
media.
We were talking about hip hop monetizing and how hip hop is growing into mainstream media, and then we also talked about
That's what
I was
I
getting
said.
taken
All
What
right,
do you
so
mean
I
by
guess
monetization?
right. I guess
Like,
I was
I don't know
I was
a
talking
lot
about
about
when you're
monetization,
starting out. What are the
personally.
strategies?
I don't know exactly what
I have no
monetization is. I know it's kind of to me monetization. What I know about it,
Yeah.
and the big gist is that you get money.
securing the
from
bag.
what- Yeah,
That's
securing
what-
the bag. Exactly.
Securing the continual
Like,
bag.
if
That's what I think.
someone's using your shit, you
Yeah.
get money
Yeah.
for
You
it.
getting checks for it, not
Right.
just like doing it for fun, like continual checks, like monetized.
Exactly.
You're
Which I don't
corporate,
think.
I guess, if that makes sense.
That's all I know about it.
That's as far like monetize. I mean,
All right. Well, all
Or,
right.
like, brand
There's the
work,
other thing of
So when it
that.
comes
So
to
that's
the
one
future
thing,
of
right?
podcasts,
Okay.
that's
You
what
get
I
you get
really get excited
downloads.
you
if
need
you
to do
have
the
a lot of
YouTube video
downloads-
breaking down monetizing for
Yeah, some people.
minorities.
Yeah, because we minorities.
Because
we
like I
don't know.
said, I don't know. No one's ever
Not
used the word
well-versed
monetizing
in
in
it.
my
Are
family
we minorities still?
my entire life. I don't know. I just say that
Still?
so people know what we're talking about.
Were you thinking?
Not really. We're not.
No, I'm thinking like,
Let's
are
be
we?
real.
Are we
No.
like? Are there more white people still?
Oh.
I don't know. But that's besides the point. Tangent. Chill. Yeah. we
That's a
don't
good
have
academic
nobody-
question that I don't have an answer to.
We don't have nobody doing that for us. Like I've never.
I'm
used the word
sure.
monetizing
I'm
in my
sure
life.
Guess somebody.
soon there won't be.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why we need
Guess
that. What
somebody
you were saying.
Get somebody for what?
for figuring out how many white people are there left.
I mean, I have the
Oh, that.
computer right here. I
Yeah,
just
you could
like.
just
And you
don't-
heard I said left. Not me.
I know. I don't. I don't know. I don't want to really
It's
like
a
go
second-
down this
it's a second-
path.
don't want to
It's a
cut
second
it.
jab
Yeah,
at white people.
That's how, yeah, no, I'm Peter Rosenberg. You brought him up. You gotta cut all this out now.
All right. What about live podcasts? Y'all like that? Have you been to one?
Wait. Re-ask that because you gotta cut that out.
What?
Just re-ask the question because we're cutting out that little part.
All the racist Brian
Do you,
stuff,
do you
including this.
maybe that's how we're gonna get back down to like a half hour, cutting stuff out, all the phone calls, all this other stuff. No, the question is, do you guys like? Do you guys? Yeah, that's doing terrible things to the audio.
All right, let's restart this podcast. We about to cut the last like 20 minutes. All
The
right, hold
question
up.
is,
5 seconds of dead air, so you could cut in.
yeah.
Just like,
Also, I want you looking at the camera more.
Let's like all.
yeah, I got
Right.
the fucking awkward position where I gotta look at you and him, like my
Right.
neck just flapping the whole
And
time.
we're
But
My
your
hair.
face is in it. Yeah.
But I'm in the middle. My head though is moving.
Do you
But-
guys like live podcasts? Because that is another big way that they're
Yeah, I like 'em.
monetized.
Yeah, I like them.
Because
Yeah.
they usually turn into an episode,
I mean,
so
that's
you
what
get to view
yeah,
it.
That's what No Jumper
Have
does.
y'all ever
That's
been
what
in the?
Academics does. Their live stream.
I'm talking about buy tickets to an event that is the podcast.
Yeah. I mean, only 2 people have done that.
Who?
It's only been
Jesus and
Joe-
Meryl. And
Well, I didn't.
they both
They
did
just
it.
did that though.
okay,
Right? Didn't
who
they
else?
just do that? So I don't think I heard about it yet, but I think I did. I probably missed the tweet. I scrolled by it.
I just know Joe
But-
Budden.
I know Joe, but before that, I mean, if you count it as a podcast, but Elliot Wilson with The Crown,
Oh yeah.
The Crown
did that
interviews,
live?
That was those are
And I mean,
those
and
are
then
like
they've
live
done, like-
podcasts.
Okay, what do you guys think about like?
That's a live podcast.
I don't
to
know
me.
if you guys heard about TanaCon and like FuziCon.
I did. That's why. Well, that's why I
What do
asked you
guys
about
think
Shane Dawson.
anything like that?
I don't know what that is.
Though
Right, so
they're
it's
like
YouTubers, so there's
influencers,
just-
like
yeah,
big
influencers,
YouTubers, like 10 million
bloggers
subscriber
that talk about
YouTubers.
shit, Like you know Shane Dawson? Or you
No.
probably do, where you can see his face.
I need to make
Nah,
a video
yeah.
for people.
But like, so it's
on
just
YouTube.
like they're YouTube influencers, and they ended up trying to do like, well, I just know the same name's Tana Mongeau, I think.
Right,
And she
Tana Mojo.
Oh,
They-
I don't know.
they
I
do
don't-
like,
I didn't know about her till this all came
Her
out.
live event is more like
A disaster, but
it
that's-
went
so
badly,
basically-
but it was supposed to be slash meetup,
but
right?
besides that,
So you
right,
get to like it's a meet and greet
what it was
and
supposed to be. It was supposed to be a dope event where like you go to meet her and then like there's dope shit and there's stuff around to do and then like there would be other influencers there too.
Yeah.
but it's
Things like
almost
that.
convention-y too because they want to
It
have
was literally
booths
a
and move
con.
people around.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
this thing, you know.
Yeah, I've been to Comic Con.
Complex Con.
It's a
It would
it's
be
compa-
just like
it's Comic Con though for like
Influencers
YouTube.
and YouTube and all that.
Comic Con
stuff.
for YouTube.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 'cause
It
a
was
Comic-Con
called
would
TanaCon,
have-
though, because they have a YouTube con actually, and but it's called something else.
But like this one's
And
a
that's why she
a
did
self-done
it,
one.
because she was competing.
She was
with-
anti,
It's
yeah.
a self-done one,
Right.
which is what needs to happen.
And then Fuzi too tried to do one too, which also went in and had a disaster.
Yup.
Turnout and shit. So like, but we need someone to do it right, and I think the way they do it right is by starting small and stop thinking they are Drake level people just because they get mad YouTube views. Because I've realized that
Right.
some of these YouTube influencers, like Fuzi, thinks he's a real celebrity.
Correct.
Like, okay, you've been in a Tyler
Like-
Perry movie. Good fucking job. Like,
Like, let's be real. You have a million subscribers. A million people subscribe that are gonna watch a video. Like, That's
And just the fact that you're very unknown in certain circles.
Yeah,
like,
very
unknown.
Like you can't just go anywhere and just be like, yo, you know, FouseyTube, and not even just adults, like even young people. Like you can't just go to any person, even my age. I'm 23. You can't just go up to anybody, even my age, and be like, yo, you know, FouseyTube, right off the top of the head. I'm like, nah. But like, yo, that bald dude who be laughing like a dumbass. Like, oh yeah, I kind of remember him. Like, there's a lot of people like that. My girl did not know who FouseyTube was when I was going through the Fousey kind of stuff. I showed her throughout. She had no clue. Even when I showed her the stuff, she kind of remembered his memes.
Yeah, but and then the same way is like you don't know any makeup YouTubers that she probably watches. So
no, but that's
kind of like that.
No, and that's
like
what
no
I'm saying.
there's
It's
very
like,
little
that's what I'm saying.
crossover.
They're not.
The first
as
people
famous
crossing
as they think
over
they
are
are.
like Jake Paul.
It's like they're not as famous as they think they are. And Jake Paul is
Thank
not
you.
even really
because
crossing
he
over.
created
Yeah.
created a moment.
Wait, so if you're
for
talking about
mainstream.
crossing over from YouTube, then I just got put on there. Let's talk about Joji
Yeah,
because I didn't even.
he's
know
a
who
huge
Joji
crossover
was.
hit.
Some music.
Really?
Yeah, I
You
didn't
didn't
know.
know
My
Ant-
brother loves Joji.
So
I didn't
Ant
know- I
loves
don't-
Joji.
bro, I
Showed me
hate-
YouTube
Alright, hold
Joji.
up. I hate all cringy, disgusting videos on YouTube.
Right.
About
Those
dumb
aren't
shit.
fun.
I don't. I watch you. I'm not an idiot, bro.
That's
I go on
why
the
you don't know
internet
Shane
to
Dawson.
get information, bro. I don't care about.
You like 50. Come on, you seen some
I don't ever
you seen
watch
some
50
stupid. You don't look
memes.
up dank memes?
No.
Come on, you're
The
20.
stupidest shit
I
I
look
look
up
up on
zero
YouTube
memes.
is like when I'm high, is like Patrick Star
so
compilations,
when
so
you
I
was
can laugh.
alright, so you never looked up stick figures on crack when you was growing up?
I was like 11.
No.
Looking up stick figures on crack when you was a kid though, right?
That's OD. That was like.
But you looked
That's
that up,
animated.
right?
I'm not looking
Damn.
up niggas
So you
eating
can
hair.
relate to these kids.
I
I'm
missed
looking up
that
niggas
wave
eating
too.
So I'm
hair.
just saying, don't just
Or
talk
people
shit like
eating
I'm on
corn.
the internet for information. Like, you know, some of these people are still
That was
in their stick
information.
figures on crack age. Yeah, stick figures on crack was information at one point.
It was.
You needed that shit.
It was because I wanted to be an animator, so I had to study animation.
Oh my god.
I did. I went to summer. I went
I
to
know,
summer.
I
Yeah,
feel you,
no,
bro. I
get
gotta
the
make
fuck
it like
out of
that.
here with that.
I'm an artist.
Like,
now.
come on, you wanted to see
No.
someone get smashed with a fucking hamburger and niggas go, damn. You wanted to see that.
Yo,
There's so many other ways you could have
that
just
shit
looked
is
up
dumb
anime.
funny. Nigga just randomly fall. Yo,
Like,
but,
for no reason.
but
Why
I got
is
Robot
that
Chicken for
funny,
that because
though?
I watched Robot Chicken growing up.
But
That's why it's
why-
funny.
but
Robot
why
is
is
Robot Chicken
Robot
and
Chicken
Family Guy.
funny? But
It's
why
all
is
Robot
Robot
Chicken
Chicken-
and Family Guy.
You
and
see,
South
but I
Park.
know why Family Guy is funny. But why is Robot Chicken funny? Like that, some of the
Robot
stuff
Chicken's
that happens in
hilarious.
Robot Chicken should not be funny.
Should
Like,
not
It's
be funny.
part
Like
of
you
the
should not
reason-
laugh at
Because it
that.
doesn't make
But
sense.
part of the
It's
reason
just-
why it's funny is the fact that it's stop motion, and someone literally took every point of himself to stop this toy and like move it to do this. To
Yo,
like
the
do some
dudes-
ridiculous stuff, bro. Like,
What do you think
someone
they were
really
doing?
sat there and like every second click. Like, you know how the process of stop motion is insane.
What do you think they were doing when they were making
Bro,
Robot
they
Chicken?
had to be off.
How
They
do
had
you
to be
think the-
blasted?
How do you think that like the room was making that? You know how like
It's
You
so
know who the
experimental.
creators are?
you know how
in
much
nature.
laughing they must have
You
been
know how
doing.
many
Like,
wildly disgusting jokes had to be thrown out the window that didn't make the cut?
Right, that weren't
'Cause
because
they- yo, they
TV
don't
was like a
care,
high
bro.
a high bar of like
Bro, they
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
would literally they were criticized. Like they have
Oh,
one
man,
episode
I'm dead
opening where
sensitive.
they literally like destroy the studio and like kill the entire studio that owns them and everyone at Adult Swim and like stop motion. They murder the whole office.
oh yeah, remember
I
that?
don't
Everyone's
care.
ripping
Saw that
everyone's
episode.
apart
Yeah,
and
they
stuff,
like diss their own studio.
You ever seen? Remember
in
Grand
the
Theft
middle
Mario
of
and
their
like
season.
Mario like had the he was supposed to go to Mushroom City, but he accidentally
went
went
to
to
Vice
Liberty,
City.
yeah, Vice City. And then he started
Ate real
taking
mushrooms
mushrooms
and
and started jumping on people's turtles. Like some girls happened to be walking her turtle down the street,
Like
like.
jumping on the
And he's
turtle.
like, pow, pow,
And then when he had the mushrooms, they thought everybody was like Goombas in the street and stuff, so he was running people over, thinking he was
with
getting
the
coins.
car just
Because
because he was like, I need money.
And he was getting chased by the cops.
I missed that one.
Yeah, he
Robot
started-
Chicken's great.
It sounds
Robot
great.
Chicken's
Yeah, man, yo,
It's
that
'cause
was
they do-
dumb,
You're getting
dude.
way too far from the mic though.
My fault.
Yo, this mic thing be distracting. Now I see why they use
It's-
those attachments. Because I did it a
Yeah.
couple times too, and I was like, yo, I got it.
It's just because I got long knees. I'd be under the table.
Yeah, and then, like
Oh.
we're slinky. Like, you know,
Facts.
We need a better orientation.
shout out to slinky people.
Um,
I fuck with the
Represent
table though.
Slinky
Strongly,
struggles.
you know?
do you like any of these other Adult Swim shows?
Now I haven't watched it forever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
also
haven't-
put me on the anime.
I
That's
feel
pretty
like-
much what I used to watch it for.
Thank you.
Anime and Robot
Bleach.
Chicken.
Y'all watch Big Mouth and Rick and Morty because I
Big
feel
Mouth
like
is
they're
lit.
the
Rick and Morty is
spiritual
lit.
successors
Big
to.
Mouth.
Adult Swim. Shit
Yeah.
like that. Hell yeah.
Rick and
Like
Morty, I love.
dysfunctional too is like not
Dysfunctional.
My bad. What is it? Disenchantment. It's like it looks like.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know about Disenchantment?
I haven't watched it. I'm gonna watch it, but
I haven't watched
heard
it either.
I heard it's
But-
fire. I heard it's fire.
Yeah, somebody
It's
at
by
work
the
was
makers
like,
of The
that's the
Simpsons.
other
I
one.
love The Simpsons. Favorite animated show like that. They're
Simpsons?
super dope. When it comes to those
Right.
animated sitcoms type like Family Guy, Simpsons, American Dad, Simpsons. They're the best
You like
one.
Simpsons?
Yo,
I like Family Guy
I
more than
can't.
Simpsons.
bro. You're like me, and you gotta get into it, bro.
I don't like Simpsons,
I don't know.
bro.
I don't know. I just love
I
Simpsons.
find The Simpsons as being right on the fence.
I'm
of like
super corny, and I
my
love
language.
funny. I laugh at science jokes. Like, I can laugh at a science joke.
me too, but I just don't like the
And
characters.
Simpsons,
think
I
Homer's
love
the
the
one-
character. Like my favorite character in The Simpsons, low key, is Lisa.
Like I don't even really.
I
Like
think
the
she's
characters in
super
Family
woke
Guy. I
and
just
super
like
dope,
Brian
and
too.
like she's always struggling. Like I feel so bad
Lisa's
for her.
cool though.
Like I fuck with
She's
Lisa
the good
because like
character.
she's
Right.
always struggling, and like her point never gets across. And like I don't know, like
And she's just frustrated. 'cause she
and
lives
she's
around
always
idiots.
like almost always right too. Like you know, and like even but sometimes she's not and whatever. Like not always, but I don't know. I just fuck with Lisa and her overall character and the way she moves through the story. And then
That's
besides
interesting. I
besides
never thought of my
Lisa,
favorite Simpsons character. Ever.
besides that though, it's Homer all day. Homer's the man.
Right. Homer's the
Homer's the man.
main attraction.
Yeah, Homer's the man. Like Homer, but I don't know Peter or Homer
I don't know. I like Family Guy for Stewie and Brian.
for Stewie and Brian.
Peter
yeah.
or
But
Homer.
Peter or Homer.
Like I'll be real. I don't really like the majority of people in Family Guy. I like Quagmire.
I think it's very
he's funny.
even.
Nah, Homer. I don't know. Nah, Peter's dumb funny. Peter is dumb
I
funny.
hate Chris.
Nah, Peter's funnier than Homer, but Homer's more lovable.
Right.
Peter's
Because of how
piece of
stupid he is, though. I don't
Yeah.
know. Homer.
I think Homer's more
stupid
lovable.
and innocent.
Yeah.
Stupid, but he knows he's doing it.
Yeah, Peter
He's
is
like,
just a
he'll-
savage.
Yeah, he just don't care. Homer's like literally stupid.
Yeah, and then you feel bad at He's
Yeah,
like a
Peter-
kid.
Yeah.
Peter's
like,
like
"Oh."
a dumb smart person.
Nah, Peter's just
'Cause he had-
stupid.
I don't mean.
He's
he
also
has
stupid, but he's like Homer is like
not a total
a good
airhead.
kid, and he's just stupid, and he gets himself into shit. Peter is stupid, but he's a bad kid, and he just does bad stuff, like stupid bad kid stuff.
He's like a stupid.
Like the
Stewie.
stuff he does is like
He's
the
a
stuff
stupid
you.
Stewie.
Yeah, it's like the stuff you would smack your kid for. Like, why would you do that? Like when he put a bunch of razor blades attached to a fan to shave his face faster. Like Homer would never do that. Like you know, he gets himself into stupid situations. That's like why would you do that to your wife? Like why would you do that to your kids? Oh, you're exploiting taxes. Like you know, something like that. Like yeah, he like hits himself in the eye with a hammer every now and then. But like I don't know, Peter is just like jump off the roof into a water slide and like
And break your legs.
Yeah,
And
like
backflip into a tank of sharks.
right, exactly.
And
Like
expect to tame them because you're singing them a Disney song.
right, jump on a rocket and be like, I'm gonna make it to California in 4 minutes. Fuck an airplane. I'm a genius.
That's like South Park when they did the episode of how Family Guy is made, or it's just a dolphin moving the idea.
Yeah, it was manatees.
Yo,
It was
that's why I love South
manatees.
Park.
Nah, South Park, yo.
South Park is
Damn, you just made me forget all about South. And I was
South
literally
Park.
talking about South Park last
South
night
Park
at
is
work,
like the
talking about how
Ebro of
like
everything.
if you need to know about how to fix the world, just watch South Park. They'll tell you how to fix the world. They'll show you
The
all
dark-
everything that's
Of what's wrong.
and how it all connects.
That's right what they go for.
Yo, and it
That's
all
why nobody
connects
wants to
so
watch it.
well. They show you that everything's connected, though. They'll show you how much politics can really affect all the way down to just your life at school, where people be like, "Oh, Donald Trump doesn't affect me because I'm not a businessman and I don't pay taxes and
Yeah, 'cause
I'm
they
not
live
an
in
adult."
South Park in the middle of nowhere, but yeah, they're dealing with
With all
world's
this shit,
crises.
and it's the stuff that we do deal with, and
Yeah.
then you realize how it trickles down from like policies, from government stuff, from media, and from how people just see things on Twitter. How a Twitter update could change shit, like
That's why the realest shit is always the best shit, and creatives always create and find a way to make it, because we give you the real stuff in life and not the fake stuff. We have more.
Yo, South Park
More
beats
in tune,
Simpsons.
like-
I don't know, but nah,
South Park is
South
Park's
Park beats
better.
all of them.
South Park is the GOAT.
South Park, yeah, is the goat.
South Park, the
They've
goat.
literally done
South Park
everything.
is the goat.
They even had an
Comment
episode
what's the
of
GOAT?
Simpsons did
The
it.
I
goat
think
of
that's
all-
highly
The
controversial
goat of all animated comedy series. South
for
Park
adults.
South Park.
for adults. South Park.
Even though Simpsons did everything they did first.
Simpsons?
South Park did it better.
Nah, Simpsons did not do it first.
They had that
What
whole
South Park
episode.
does is way different.
They even have our own episode where Simpsons do everything. It's like everything that Butters wanted to do.
Yeah, I remember.
Simpsons did it.
Yeah,
That's the whole Simpsons did it.
yeah.
Like, that shit
But nah,
hilarious.
I still think South Park is done.
Yeah,
so
my mom
much
let me
more
watch
with
The
their
Simpsons. She
platform.
didn't want me to watch South Park, so they went by default.
So how did you end up watching South Park?
My dad didn't care. My mom
I
was at home. I
watched
watched it. I watched it with my dad.
mom. Me and
I watched it with
mom
my dad.
Died laughing.
My dad used to be sitting there laughing with me, dying.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, this shit's crazy.
Crazy. I remember in the old episodes were weird, and you know what's crazy? You know what I did? I started going back to watch the old episodes because when I realized, now that I was older, that what South Park was, that every season just talks about what happened in the previous year and what's going on.
Yeah, because they're still made weekly, so they go on like weekly shit.
Yeah, the reason they don't age is just every season is just about what's going on
In that year, it's like a time capsule.
literally, and that's why I was like, yo, I'm gonna go back to all the episodes I used to watch and see what was going on.
Because you didn't even know what was going on.
I
as a
didn't know
kid.
what was going. I didn't understand anything about politics. I just thought this was all jokes, and now I realize these jokes come from some shit. So like,
All those shows. Boondocks,
let me go
South
back and
Park,
see what were they
Simpsons,
saying
Boondocks,
about
everything.
Canadians. Like, why were they roasting Canadians so much? Let me go back. Let me see what they were talking about with Reagan. Why was Saddam over there so much? I remember Saddam was a crazy character.
He
on
was,
there.
yeah, he was.
So I was
on
like,
I knew
let me
about
go back.
Saddam on South Park before I knew about
That's
him.
Saddam in
his
real
life.
life, right? Hey, then
Yo.
that's
Who's
what I'm
this
getting
guy?
at. So now that I know about Saddam in history, let me go back and watch those
All this
episodes
stuff is so
and see
educational,
what was going down.
which is why he
Like,
watches it.
That's why I love South Park, and I would always start telling him, I'm like, Mom, like, they tell me stuff. Like, it's real. Like, it's not just shit jokes and
Like
gay
it's just
jokes.
like they
It's-
just take it to the extreme. Yeah,
Yeah.
like but it's
It's like
real
the
shit.
Daily Show.
It's like Eminem's first album in the show. That just never stopped.
Yeah, but they do some stuff on South Park
Oof.
that's just like really mean though. Like I'm not gonna hold like some of the
Right.
stuff they
Is
do.
why did you bring it there?
They just
I think that's how come I've seen so very few episodes. I've probably seen like 10 or less.
But yo, they get away with with the people like with cancel
Sensitive?
culture and all that stuff
Huh?
being
Are
a
you
thing.
sensitive?
no,
Yo,
I
but,
feel
like-
I watch it like now. I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's all on Hulu.
He
Let me
said,
go
"Are you
check that out."
sensitive?"
You know, it's 10 episodes of South Park. I mean, they be wilding, but like,
I've probably seen every episode of South Park. At this
if you
point.
got to
Almost
see 10,
every
I feel
episode.
like
almost
like it enough.
almost
that you
every
should've watched
episode.
the
Like
rest
not
of it.
Jack that.
No, streaming changed everything, man. Like, all right. Well,
The
that
whole,
was
like,
our
last
talk on
hour of the
podcast.
The whole like last hour of this talk was about
Yeah,
nothing.
Yo, we got it. All right,
That
we
whole
do have
thing
to
was
cut
really
it.
remove all
All
the
right,
video game stuff.
everybody-
Just remove all the video.
I
game
don't
stuff
even know.
after Assassin's Creed.
That's a whole nother
Because once
tangent.
we
Yeah,
got into
it's a whole
Assassin's
nother.
Creed, we
That's a whole
literally
nother
cut-
episode.
Yeah. Just leave that there. You could just cut that all out and put it as like something.
A
cool
side
with it.
video. You
Yeah,
can
just-
hold it for now,
Yeah, just do cool stuff with it. Maybe chop it up.
or you could use that.
I'm gonna
No.
use it.
Chop it up, use it as promo. We could do another video about video games.
We should.
Use
But
that as
that's,
like
yo, you really
We should-
think Assassin's Creed
let's do
Black
this
Flag
often.
is the best one?
Yeah.
Black Flag is bad.
Yeah.
Black Flag, the
Black
pirate
Flag is
one?
good.
Me
That shit
sitting
is
there
Very
shooting
good.
pirates, shit is
Best
bad.
ship gameplay.
That shit is
Best environment.
I liked Unity because
Unity
I-
was
no,
better than Black
Unity
Flag.
was better than Black Flag because I could at least walk around my ship and hop off whenever I wanted, go in the water, and so like.
I never
Black
played
Flag-
Unity.
Unity was
That's where I fell off.
Unity.
What
was
about the one
Black
after
Flag
Unity?
mixed with?
That
The
old
The
old
shit,
French
English stuff.
style.
The English one, you mean?
I
That's
didn't
Unity?
play past
With the-
Unity.
with the
I
brother
played
and
Unity.
sister?
Unity
was
was
the
You didn't play
hard.
past Unity.
Unity
It was
was
like
hard
Black
because they had
something.
classes, but you could change your weapon
Yeah.
whenever you wanted.
But I like that.
But
Well, oh
you-
no,
when you're
Unity
playing
was
when you go
stealth.
to the
That's
squad,
why.
it's different because then you
Yeah.
can do that. Like
the
one
squad
nigga
shit
pick,
was
yeah,
dope.
one nigga will pick the sword, one nigga will pick the staff.
Yo,
and, like,
Assassin's Creed Online was slept on.
Creed,
All right,
Unity had
say
the
goodbye
potential.
to the podcast.
Oh, we're still. I thought
Oh,
you paused
I
it.
thought we were done.
No!
I thought you were done and we were just
Yeah.
talking shit. My fault.
All right, let's raise a glass.
Yeah,
I
it's
bet. Empty ass glass.
bet.
Check you out. Yeah.
Daylock, Conan, Abe. We out.
Yeah.
Eh.